That's the sound of 3 different security guards locking you in here with me. Welcome back to the Brothers of the Unknown. Tonight, we're diving back into the archives of a certain Foundation. You know, the one that treats world-ending anomalies like they're just misfiled paperwork. I just spent the afternoon trying to haunt a containment cell, but apparently ghosts are considered extra-normal entities and require a 40-page application and a background check. Your hosts for this evening's classified briefing are Mr. B and Mr. K. One of them is currently trying to use a memetic kill agent as a screensaver, and the other still thinks SCP stands for Super Cool Podcast. Gentlemen, the floor is yours, and try not to trigger any reality restructuring events. We just got the studio repainted.
Thanks, Boogie. I just wanted to pick up kind of where we left off with our other episode of the Foundation. Mr. B, why don't you tell us how you're doing today and give us a small recap?
Sure, yeah, not a problem. I'm doing fantastic as usual.
Sweet.
So I guess the recap from part 1 of the SCP Foundation. We pretty much went over the whole what they were, what do they do, why do they do it, and also the containment procedures, I guess you would want to call it, or like what I affectionately called it, the red, yellow, green light of the SCP world, I guess. And obviously all this information is in the first episode, or the first part, which I suggest, you should probably go back and listen to. I mean, we go really in depth with it, give you a little extra, examples and stuff like that, I guess.
Yeah, we just want to break down the concept of the Foundation. And to pick up where we left off, I would like to talk about the personnel and the security clearance and how that all works within the Foundation.
Awesome.
So I guess to start us out, do we want to start at the top security clearance or the bottom security clearance?
You know what? We should build the foundation from the foundation.
All right, that works good for me. We can start from the lower levels then. Let's talk about level 0. So level 0 is basically for your non-essential duties. Maybe slightly essential duties. These people are more like your janitorial personnel.
All right.
Other classifications of low-level people would be D class or E class.
All right. So what exactly is D class?
D class are lab rats, essentially. People that are on death row for committing atrocities to humanity.
Okay, so I'm assuming they're disposable.
Definitely disposable. These are the people that if there's an entity that's pretty dangerous and they want to study it, and they need someone to interact with it, these are the people that get used.
Okay, so essentially, hey, you're gonna be dead anyways, so you might as well do what we need to do. Is this kind of like the whole what's that movie, Death Race?
Yes.
Where like you get like 3, 4, however many races, X amount of races, and you live through all of them, then hey, you get your freedom back. Here you go.
Yeah, I don't know if they ever get their freedom back, or maybe they're told what they need to hear just to get them to comply, but I'm sure if they survive, they're just used again in another situation. Yeah, if you survive 3 times, we'll send you free. And the 3rd time we use you, we know you're going to deal with an entity that nobody survives.
Right, 100% casualty rate.
Pretty much.
So, what would be considered a E-class then?
Now, your E-class are personnel that have been exposed to SCPs and are dealing with negative effects and aren't quite cleared to return back to duty. They may even be dying.
So this is actual like personnel of the Foundation, not necessarily like you or I would be considered.
Yes. Could be a D class, could be a researcher that just got a little too close. That sort of thing.
Okay, gotcha. So what would we be considered classified as?
We would be classified as 2 dumb idiots that don't need to know what the Foundation even is.
Fair enough.
So we're just 2 tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorists that talk about the Men in Black like they exist.
So true, Joe. So true. So I guess you have level 0. The only way up is up.
So the next level, it basically goes from level 0 to level 5. The next one would be level 1. This is like confidential, very minimalistic. You get minimum information on what you're dealing with. A good example to bring back up would be SCP-006, the Fountain of Youth that we talked about in the previous episode.
Mm-hmm.
Using that as an example, people that are dealing with this entity, they want to keep it so secret that even the people that test it and deal with it, they're kept in the dark. They're made to wear special suits that are airtight or watertight. And then they're told that the Fountain of Youth is essentially like a vat of acid. The water is very dangerous, and they go through very extensive suit. I don't know what that is, like PPE, protection, whatever. Basically like what an electrician does to test his equipment before he goes and messes with high voltage equipment.
Okay.
They hook you all up and they put you in a pool and they make sure there's no air bubbles, no leaks, no nothing, before you go and deal with SCP-006. And they give you this false sense of terror to not come into contact with it. But essentially, they just don't want you getting superhuman healing abilities.
Okay. So essentially, these are the individuals that aren't necessarily going to be going and working with the SCPs, but they're kind of adjacent. Is that what it is?
Kind of, basically.
Okay.
They made it known that the accidents of their suit leaking is they execute anyone that has come in contact with it before the effects get too strong.
Oh boy. Okay.
So I mean, it might as well be a vat of acid that's, gonna affect you, because the SCP has a way of keeping their secrets and you are expendable.
So does that mean Class D would technically be Class 1 or Level 1?
Could be.
Okay.
Normally Class 1 is for your people that are probably in the room with the D class, your pen and paper note taker and observer, as the D class are probably doing their duty, depending on what entity they're working with. They probably wouldn't want a D class dealing with an entity like 006. But they also don't want a minor researcher spreading word of it either.
Okay, so it's more like a recruit-esque, individual probies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Greenhorns, pretty much.
Okay, all right. So level 2, what would be entailing of that?
Now your level 2s are a little bit higher up on the ladder. Now keep in mind, the whole organization are the best of the best, the top tier, swore secrecy, and everybody's on the level. But depending on your intelligence level and how you can discern information or come up and find clues and better understand an anomaly, this is kind of that area that we're getting into. People are privy to more information about the entity they're working with, and it's a little less secretive.
Okay.
At least to them.
So not quite a probie, but more of a...
You're experienced now,
Okay. All right. You're seasoned.
So, all right. This is the most common level, where you're like a C class personnel, and you've been with the Foundation for a little while, and you're pretty familiar with your do's and your don'ts, and when you shouldn't ask questions.
Fair enough. So you get your average run-of-the-mill, scientist, researcher, essentially. So I'm assuming then the people that are actually doing the security details is level 3 or 4 or something like that?
Yeah, it could be level 2, level 3.
Okay.
Depending on the entity that they're working with or their skill level. Maybe they're top tier tactical personnel, or a researcher that's showing some promise to gaining knowledge.
Okay. All right. So level 2 is kind of your base level researcher / security detail. And then,
Correct.
So then higher the level, the more, not necessarily experienced, but
it's kind of like a ranking system, Okay. You have your lower experienced or lower time involved in that thing, and then we're working ourselves up to level 3, where you're pretty involved with the information that you're working with, and you're the one that's probably keeping the secrets from the level 2 and below. You have a little more information that they're privy to.
All right, so you got senior advisors or senior.
Yeah, these would be kind of like your overseers. If you're level 2, your C class or a D class are in a room with the entity, this would be the guy on the other side of the facility or on the other side of the glass, basically not directly dealing with the entity, but maybe walking through some steps or telling you, poke it with a stick.
So in other words, middle management.
Basically, things that keep operations on track, or a secondary security defense, or these are your people that are in charge of units. Like your mobile task force leaders or your head scientists, that kind of level.
Okay, all right. And then level 4?
Level 4 is kind of on the next level. There's a significant jump between level 3 and level 4. These are probably like your site directors, your facility managers as a whole. They make sure that the scientists and researchers and head security guards are in place and doing their jobs and doing them correctly and for the safety of everyone.
Okay. All right. So the more essential members of the Foundation is
Correct.
kind of like the level 4, and then level 5 I'm assuming is like the top tier, the head honchos of the whole shindig, eh?
Pretty much.
Okay.
I think it's said to be like between 9 and maybe like 18 people are on the O5 council that they're called. They are like the Knights of the Round Table that have all the information at their disposal. Nothing is redacted for them.
So like the board of directors.
Pretty much. They are the board of directors of how the Foundation acts and moves and makes the ultimate decision to wipe a town off the face of the map, or contain something differently, or not mess with something, or has directives to send people out to go and catch something.
Okay. All right. So your head honchos, they have all the secrets. They tell the level 4, hey, go do this, and then level 4, just
delegates
rolls
it down. Yep, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
And if there's lower level researchers and scientists that want to study something that's maybe been left alone for a while, and they're like, hey, I need some more information on this. I need to see if it can help me accomplish a goal or take on another entity, or decide if something's Thalmule or Keter. They kind of discern changes in the big picture of the world for the most part.
Okay. All right. So I guess you went through the people that make up the Foundation. Is there anything else that we should probably know?
Well, I mean, that's kind of the gist of it. They basically go out, come across an entity, figure out what it does, how to deal with it, how to contain it, and how to keep it from destroying or keeping it out of the public's eye.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean that sounds like a pretty solid foundation.
Honey.
Yeah. So I guess I don't know. I mean,
Do you want to go into maybe another SCP and touch on something that, I don't know, that helps explain how the personnel operates?
I mean, I guess. Well, you know what? I think we did forget to do an example of what a thaumiel is. Is there an example of one that you might want to let us know
There
about?
is, but I honestly don't know too much about it, so I could skim read and go over it briefly.
Okay, yeah.
There's a thaumiel class SCP-179, and I apologize, I am not too familiar with any thaumiel classes. They've been known to be directly dealt with by the O5 Council or Level 4 security clearance personnel. This item I have pulled up is SCP-179. It used to be classified as safe, and they changed it to thaumiel.
Okay. That's a hell of a leap.
Yeah, so I mean, like, the whole thing with the safe is, you know, you put it in a box and you leave it alone and it does nothing, and then you find out that you don't need to put it in a box because you can use it as the box. So I mean, I guess it's safe because it contains something that probably isn't.
Okay. I was gonna say, you know, having it listed as a safe. I mean, going from being in a box to being the box. That sounds like a huge leap.
So SCP-179 remains beyond the reach of current known groups of interests, including the Foundation. All containment efforts are focused towards a Grade 3 omission cover-up, coupled with the discouragement or sabotage of exploration and research missions that attempt to study cis-Mercurian space and orbits that go through it. Whatever that means.
You have a little bit more grasp than I do.
Yeah, so the description, SCP-179 is a humanoid entity located at constant description. SCP-179 is a humanoid entity located at a constant distance of approximately 4,000 kilometers from the South Pole region of the solar photosphere, locked to a rotational axis sol. However, it does not orbit it. The most recent recording of SCP-179 indicate that it seems to maintain a continuous orbit around the center of the galaxy. So it's a humanoid thing that orbits the center of the galaxy, I guess. And there's a ton more information about it that it's kind of hard to go into on the spot to boil it down for the fans. So we may have to bring this up on its own episode.
Okay.
And going into it. But it seems to be almost like the Silver Surfer.
Okay. I'm assuming in a larger scale.
No, I mean, it's humanoid, so that kind of means it's the size of me or you. And It composes a metallic and golden hue, so maybe it's the Golden Surfer.
Yeah, maybe that.
So, and the fact of I don't know, it lives in space and can handle extreme environments compared to you or I.
Mhm.
And I don't know, they use it to deal with other SCPs at certain instances. So I don't know, it's definitely an interesting one.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to drop a whole episode on that one because it sounds like you got a lot of research you're gonna have to plug your way through on that.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I could bring up as like personnel interacting with an SCP that I can talk about
Mhm.
is the Shy Guy again.
He's a Thalmule?
He's not a Thalmule. He's a Keter type entity.
All right.
And he's a very good example on how personnel can contain him and interact with him, even though he's basically a Wolverine and unkillable and will go nuts under specific circumstances.
Okay, yeah.
So SCP-096, also known as the Shy Guy, personnel at the Foundation have figured out that if you don't see this thing's face, he just kind of weeps in his cell. But if there's a picture of him floating out there and someone just so happened to look at it, this entity registers that his face has been seen by someone and starts to lose his mind.
Yeah, which kind of harkens back to that question: is like, is he magical because he knows when someone sees him, and he's like,
has to
boom.
be, has to be. Maybe there was a photograph. Actually, there was a photo taken of like the landscape and the woods, and there you really can't tell that SCP-096 was captured in this image. One day, it was just another normal day at the Foundation, and all of a sudden 096 starts screaming and wailing and starts beating against its containment until finally it breaks free and escapes, going on a rampage. Anybody caught in the hallways or security guards, if they weren't knocked over and didn't see his face, they were probably fine. But anything that turned the corner and goes, holy shit, there's a pale, naked, slender man with this crazy face, this thing has locked onto you now and is on a rampage until it finds its way out of the building and heading towards whatever person happened to see it.
Okay, not to get too far off the topic, but when you just described this SCP, you said it was a naked Slenderman?
Yeah, so it's not a man, it's not a woman, it's a legitimate it. This thing has been drawn smooth, apparently. And it's just this naked, humanoid, I don't know, spring bean, kind of like tall, slender, pale, pretty damage resistant and unkillable.
The funny thing about it is ever since you brought it up, I've had this image in my head that it's like this I don't know. You remember that old like really old, like this is probably gonna date me hardcore, but the animated character called Salad Fingers.
Salad Fingers. Why does that sound familiar? I don't remember Salad Fingers.
Oh, it's a very unique animated series, and I can't remember what the name of the website is from, but it was a long time ago, and nonetheless, it has nothing to really do with that. It's just it conjures that character in my mind, and he's got like really long fingers and whatnot, and but like for some odd reason I just picture him as, because it's like a greenish colored character, right? A green character with like an emo haircut where like half of his face is covered up and you only see like one eye. And he's like wearing a band t-shirt, like one of his favorite
Sounds
bands.
like a weird Kakashi.
he's very introverted, and he's just like really pissed when anybody sees his face.
Well, maybe that's another leak of the lore. Maybe there's some truth to this entity. But anyways, to get back on topic.
Okay.
So this thing busted out, and it's making a fucking beeline for somewhere. Foundation personnel jump on, the high alert and start mapping things out, figuring out where this thing is going to. And basically have to try to avert it around towns or cities or change its course so it doesn't run through the middle of a city, making thousands of people see it and possibly take pictures, post it on the internet, sending this thing on a worldwide killing spree, because this thing just doesn't stop until the person that's seen its face is deceased. So they figure out the town it is heading for, and they start evacuating. They helicopter there, they start evacuating, and now they're looking for the said person that may or did see its face, and this is the hard part, because they don't know until he really shows up and he goes, "You."
and mind you, all this it came about because of a photo that they didn't know was there.
Yeah, a landscape photo. When the dust basically cleared, SCP-096 showed up, found the person that originally seen him, and they basically got control of 096 because, after the casualties and personnel that saw his face and the tactical force that's dealing with it are privy to the information that they basically have to shoot at this thing and not see its face, or they're going to be the next target. So once the dust cleared, they scoured the town and did what they needed to do, and they found this picture, and they realized that there was 3 pixels of SCP-096 face, and the person that was probably looking at this painting or picture just glanced over the spot of the picture to where the 3 pixels of his face went into their retina and made SCP-096 lose his mind to book it halfway around the world to take out anyone that saw its face. So, I mean, this thing has some complex issues of its looks.
Yeah, no, I can just see it. Some really super emo a guy wearing a band t-shirt out in the middle of the woods.
Yeah. Well, think of a tall, lanky person, probably close to like 6-7 foot tall, arms longer than normal. This thing can run on all fours or run upright, and it's quick. This thing gets up to like some high speeds. I think it's been known to run at like 300 or 600 miles an hour. This thing hauls ass. So there was another instance where they did a test with it with the D class, and they locked the D class at like the bottom of the ocean somewhere in a containment cell, and told the personnel to open the envelope, and there was an image of SCP-096's face. And as soon as he seen it, Shy Guy started acting up in his containment, busted down the door, but they were kind of ready for it to do its thing and cleared the halls and its path or whatever. And in the matter of like 3 to 6 hours, it made it from where it was to the containment, trudged to the bottom of the ocean. Don't know if this thing needs to breathe or not. Basically, the ocean didn't stop it. Got down to the depth and started beating on the containment, and the next thing they know, the walls were breached and the pressure killed the test subject. I don't even know if SCP-096 even had a chance to kill him before the water did.
So, in other words, a great way to slow him down is actually put the person in the water.
Yeah, I guess they were testing his ability to get to someone, or its limits, or if it has a distance radius. And that's what makes this thing so dangerous. If a picture of it found its way to the internet and thousands and millions of people seen it, the O5 Council is going to have to make some drastic decisions to try to stop this thing or what have you, to cover up what just happened. Right.
So I guess that was a pretty in-depth look at what makes the foundation when it comes to the personnel, and also a nice little taste of what SCPs are. I don't know about you, but I think we're getting pretty late in our episode. Do you want to go ahead and wrap this bad boy up?
Yeah, I'm Mr. K, that's Mr. B. You can find us here on YouTube. We have a Facebook page. We're currently working on a Patreon, as we've said before. Do you have anything else for us, Mr. B?
That sounds about it right there.
All right. Well, don't forget to leave us a like, share us if you enjoyed it. And we appreciate comments. If there's a special SCP that you'd like us to talk about, let us know. Thanks for joining the Brothers of the Unknown, and don't forget to stay weird.
And that concludes tonight's unauthorized access. If you look to your left, you'll see a man in a tactical vest holding a clipboard. Don't make eye contact. He's very sensitive about his clearance level. As you head back to the mundane, non-anomalous lives, remember, the world is much weirder than they want you to believe. If your toaster starts reciting poetry in an ancient summons, or your reflection refuses to leave the bathroom mirror, just give us a call. Or, just wait for the Foundation to contact you. I've been Boogie, and your resident site breach specialist, and this has been the Brothers of the Unknown. Stay alert, stay hidden, and if you see a lizard that won't die, just keep running.